I personally know nothing about the original Ashita no Joe manga, and I know little to nothing about sports minus what I've learned on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which I mostly watch for people like Harris, Peterson, Carlin, Tyson, Pinker, Shapiro, you know, a bunch of big fat nerds like me. Of course, my hope is that this is at least a perspective closer, keyword closer, to what some of you may have as well. And one of the obvious questions this season is going to be, should I watch Megalo Box? And while the short answer is the long answer is also. I would describe Megalo Box so far as a 13-episode tournament-style future boxing romp. The presentation of this show takes me straight back to the 90s, as many have already pointed out. It's got a killer soundtrack, much in the vein of something akin to Nujabes. They really know when to lay down the heavier beats, and occasionally some really beautiful, soulful piano pieces as well. As long as you do indeed have eyes, I doubt I need to explain to you that this is some of the closest work we're going to get to something like Cowboy Bebop or Wolf's Rain again. I do love that even today, when the aesthetic of anime has been so heavily streamlined to a mainstream appeal, we can at least still occasionally get something like this. One could easily make the argument that the gear augments are sort of pointless, but there's just so much style in their design, and the flying sparks and brutality of it all really helps to sell that these fighters are really on the edge of chaos, so to speak. It's compelling in that visceral, primal sense. Our main character is just your self-proclaimed average Joe, and to be honest, my first question when I seen him emerge on screen during the first scene was, is this going to be a fun-to-watch, totally alpha dude like I'm hoping for? And I think the best answer is that he's working on it. I appreciate conflict within a character, and I think they nailed it here. Joe begins the show trapped in the underground fighting scene of a beautifully slummy and systematically segregated city, and seems to long for nothing more than just to get to stop being a liar and throwing fights. He definitely loves a challenge, doesn't mind getting totally brutalized occasionally, and beats the hell out of many of today's bland cookie-cutter type MC coons. Nanbu, or Pops, is Joe's trainer. He starts out in this show a bit easy to despise. He has a pretty sad frame of reference on life, and when he finds himself in deep shit, he pretty much uses the kid like a tactical shield, metaphorically speaking. My disdain for him didn't last too long, of course. For one, he turns out to be anything but weak when he gets his drive back, and has the sort of regret-ridden past that would leave just about anyone jaded if we're being honest. Joe loves pointing out his sordid contradictions, and it makes for a really compelling chemistry between two underdogs attempting to force their way from the slums up to the top ranks. And then there's Sachio.
Oh wow, look at all the ice all over.
Yeah,
oh, we got a problem.
Yep,
Someone spilled the ice in the octagon. That's a big problem. That's a lot of ice. It's going to take some time.
That'll take a second. Our guys are working it.
This is a disaster. Oh no, this is good. Look at that. They knocked the bucket over. This is the Three Stooges. What are you freaks doing? Everybody's booing. Now there's even more pressure. Oh, now they're sweeping it out. That's good.
Sachio is pretty cool, and jaded as he should be, he brings a sense of youthful life and optimism to the table. Owner?
What the fuck is this? More business these! More business these!
Oh, Nat! The most interesting thing about her so far is what appears to be a physical obsession with the champion's integrated gear. She seems a bit salty about Joe's coming into any level of success, but she also seems reluctant to show it. We don't know a lot about the champion so far, but he's definitely no joke.
Whew. Oh crap! Oh crap!
And he isn't afraid to occasionally stoop down for the sake of honest honor and pride. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do with this odd pair. The OST is topped off with a really raw OP visually and audibly, and an ending that is just brimming with a simplistic sense of style. There are some interesting visual representations such as fear portrayed through weight. Power of music is used thematically, as Joe is seen using a steady rhythm to lead opponents such as the Shark. We're strictly visually told that our trio is recreating upcoming opponents' previous fight scenarios in preparation. It's just a great use of montage that quickly steamrolls us through what would be the more monotonous bits of the plot in a fun visual format that reinforces the ideas previously presented. We even get a pretty brutal look into minor drug abuse, PTSD, and suicide. We see some real-to-life crowd complaints, a sort of mob mentality, and even get to witness, accidental or not, psychological warfare in the ring. I'm looking forward to more of this show, and if you're looking forward to more of me, why not
Be a man, do the right thing.
and hit like, maybe leave a comment, I'm sure to reply, and maybe subscribe. I've got links in the description for some of my other content and a clearly early activated Patreon if you're really digging this content. I'm definitely enjoying making it, so feel free to hit me up. Let's get this thing rolling.